Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick. Joining me equally as always is Devon.
I believe you should be referring to me as Grey Warden, Devon.
Ah, yes. Well, by the end of the episode, yes. But right now, no, we've not done that yet. Yeah, we're doing a little bit more of a deep dive into Dragon Age Origins. This time we are starting at arriving at Ostagar after doing all the Origins. But before we get too far into that, let's go with the good old time-honored tradition of the nonsense, asinine hypotheticals. What have you got for me today?
Who do you think would be the most interesting Dragon Age Origins specifically companion from a different series?
So,
take a character from something else, put them in this game as a party member.
Right, okay. Okay. So you'll need to
they don't get
be able
guns
to
and shit.
adapt. Yeah. So if they've got guns, then they're probably going to run out of ammo.
No, they just don't have them.
Yeah, they just don't have them. Yeah.
If they're from another world that is of an equal tech level, then they're allowed to have their gear. If you choose Aragorn, then he's got his sword.
Yeah. I want to see what happened with Karlach.
Okay.
Because she's an incredibly fun character. She reads like someone who was written by, like Prime Age BioWare as well. So, yeah, I like having Karlach for this. And she's kind of halfway towards being a Kunari anyway. Yeah, I like her. She's a good pick for this, I think. How about you? Who are you going to pick for this? You've had a little bit longer to think about it.
Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Okay. Not knowing everything about Game of Thrones, give us a 20-second cliff notes of his achievements.
Well, very specifically, Jaime Lannister from the very first book, when he's still an arrogant prick. Because Jaime Lannister's big deal is, like, he is essentially the best, at least touted as the best swordsman in Westeros at that point in the story. Whether or not he is a matter of debate, but he's in the top, like, 5 minimum. So he's got the combat ability to just slot in with the party. He's also ruthless as fuck, but ruthless as fuck in a way that he believes is honourable.
Right, okay.
Which I always find to be a very interesting character in general, in that, yeah, they're ruthless as fuck, but you can't convince them they're doing wrong.
Yeah, because everything is like the ends justify the means to a degree, you know?
And then sometimes you've got cases where he does just do the right thing because, yeah, his idea of right and wrong aligns with most people's ideas of right and wrong. I appreciate you've not read the books and you've not seen the show, but the one thing that he contends with the most is he has this really epic line, and the actor, when he does it in the show, did a very good job of he is universally despised for what he thinks is his finest act.
Okay.
Where he killed the Mad King because the Mad King was going to blow up the city, but because he's the King's Guard, that's the one thing you're not supposed to do, is kill the King. So everyone condemns him for he's the Kingslayer and he's the King's Guard, member of the King's Guard. That's a big no-no. He swore to always protect the King. But if he didn't kill the King, then the city would have blown up. Oh, by the way, his dad was marching into the city at the time as well.
Yeah. I get that.
So, I think it'd be very interesting. He's almost a perfect mirror of Alistair in a sense.
Yeah, someone who was quite happily very high up in the...
Oh, he wasn't happy.
The global hierarchy. Okay, but you know what I mean. Like, he was already established very high up in the global hierarchy, had a long way to fall, and still did it.
Yeah, although I'd argue he didn't really fall.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, how about you? What's your question for today?
Well, my question was just a question, but I liked your question, so I'm going to turn it on its head. What Dragon Age companion would you think would be most interesting in a different franchise, and which franchise would you put them in?
Oh, okay. I would take the Iron Bull because he would be interesting in goddamn anything and would be able to adapt to goddamn anything. And I'd put him in Skyrim and see what side of the Civil War he chose.
Okay.
Whatever side he picks is winning.
Oh, yeah.
And also, there's dragons in that universe. There's a lot of dragons, and Bull gets a hard-on every time he kills a dragon.
Yeah. And if he's not the Dragonborn, they don't stay dead.
So yeah, he's going to have a real fun time in that universe.
Yeah, I like that.
And I could even see him perhaps becoming a member of the Thieves Guild if he really wanted to be. I don't think he would. I think he'd much prefer being a companion and killing bears all day every day. But he'll excel in that universe. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, how about you?
It's in a similar vein. I think Dorian would work incredibly well in the Baldur's Gate cast.
You see, I was trying really hard not to bring up Baldur's Gate for a second time. You're cheating, my friend.
Yep. We're just swapping. Karlach comes to Thedas, and Dorian goes to Faerun. Mainly because I think he's
fucking busted in Baldur's Gate as well, so Dorian will be fine.
Oh yeah. They actually work really well in Baldur's Gate as opposed to in Dragon Age, where you just get a couple of slightly death-themed abilities.
Well, because here's the problem is because you have to be a good guy in every the only game that went full in on now you can be an evil piece of shit was Dragon Age Origins. Even if you you can be an arsehole in 2 and Inquisition, but still fundamentally there's rules you don't cross, which means the Necromancer, I'm using air quotes, subclass isn't actually necromancy because that's too evil.
Yeah, it's just a mortalitazi. They're wardens of the dead, not puppeteers.
Yeah, they summon spirits and shit. Well, sorry, temporary spirits of the dead rather than reanimating corpses.
Yeah. And even when they do it to a corpse, it's to let a spirit that's already there and already restless work it out of its system. They just give it a corpse for a little while, and it just goes on a little rampage, goes, okay, I've had enough now, and then just passes on. And that's pretty much what the City of the Dead is underneath Cumberland. It's just a bunch of corpses just having a party.
Yeah, I do remember Cassandra having certain words about that area.
Yeah. Frickin'
and Dorian being fucking jealous.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's not being allowed to go.
Yeah.
Because he's from Tevinter. But yes, we ended last deep dive with Duncan recruiting you from whatever origin you were on.
Yeah, just a bit of a disclaimer for those of you who are listening along in real time, as it were, as these episodes get uploaded. We know it's been a couple of months. It's literally been this particular episode has been a nightmare because every time we've gone to record it, we've either had technical issues or it's been hotter than Satan's ballsack.
Yes. So we're finally ripping the Band-Aid off and doing this episode.
Yeah, we're going to aim to actually get 1 a month done going forward. That was the initial goal, if you recall, Rick, was we'll do 1 a month for the deep dive, and then we didn't. But yeah, if we do 1 a month for the deep dive, we might just about get Dragon Age Origins done by December.
Yep. And I think we're going to be skipping the DLC because, what have I done of the DLC?
You know what? Don't worry about it. We can talk about that off camera.
Yeah, we'll do that off camera.
We're not skipping Shale because she's basically vital.
Oh yeah, Shale is essentially core content.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned I didn't realize I had a code for Shale because I got a code for the Blood Dragon armor in Mass Effect 2. And then after I'd basically completed the game, I turned the card over, and Shale's on the other side of the card.
The Blood Dragon armor would have been Dragon Age Origins still.
Dragon Age Origins, and it was for Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, but just having the Dragon Age Origins data was enough to give you the armor in Mass Effect 2.
Okay. Yeah, there was something else that I got from it then, I think. But yeah, You typed in a code that you scratched off, and you got it. It might have been different on the PlayStation. They might not have bothered with the scratch off code for that.
It wasn't different. However, when I bought Dragon Age Origins, I bought it on a whim in CEX, which means it didn't have the codes.
Sure, so you had to pay like £8 for Shale.
I did, but this was before. I beat Dragon Age Origins like 3 times before I got Shale.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
When I did it the first time, it was there was no Shale, so there was basically no conflict at Carradine's Cross.
But yes, Rick, Ostagar is what we're doing today.
Yeah, you arrive here with Duncan, no matter who you are, and you run into Alistair and King Kalen and a very tired-looking Ten Loghain.
Okay, so there's a few things here. We'll tackle this one by one. You first get into the camp. Duncan takes you down the big old rampway and says, "I've got to do some shit." What he's actually doing is he's basically preparing the Dark Souls, the joining.
Yeah, he's preparing. Yeah.
So when he's doing that, he basically tells you to piss off and find Alistair. Before you do that, there are a few very fun things to actually do. do, first things first. Oh, sorry, you do actually meet Kaelin. You're right. You meet Kaelin first. Kaelin has a brief chat, and Kaelin really does show off that
Labrador energy.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. But yeah, the very first meeting, he very much gives off the vibe of he is well underestimating the threat. We don't realize this the first time. And when you play the game second time onwards, you're like, oh, you're such a fucking idiot. But the first time, it's contagious how fucking optimistic he is. Like, the way he speaks and the way he bigs up the Grey Wardens being here, that it's just going to be a cakewalk. I kind of believed him the first time.
Yeah, because pretty much all of the origins are like a shit show in terms of things going wrong for your character. So having someone who is just this optimistic and this high energy about the world in general, yeah, like it's exactly what you say. It is contagious. You just, it hypes you up for what might be good. And like a turnaround, and oh yeah, now it's time to go on an epic adventure.
Yeah, it's a very good use of show don't tell. Like, Kaelin's telling you things, but they're showing you that no, he's optimistic, he is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then you got Logain right next to him, who's basically palette swapped, and just being all down. It's like, Kaelin, your fucking fascination with this ancient order is going to be your downfall, or some bollocks like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Logain doesn't get a lot of lines here. It's very much, you do get that vibe from him of, I'm really tired of dealing with my king's bullshit, but he is my best mate's son, so I've got to put up with it.
Yeah, Logain is conspicuously reticent during this.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's that conspicuous, because again, with how hype Kaelin is, I could understand a more veteran general being like, oh, fucking this kid.
Yeah. We need a real war to put some hair on this kid's chest, because he's... he's still a puppy.
Yeah, because that's the thing as well, that like the game hints at, and you can read a lot of stuff in lore that bigs up Logain for the hero he is. People seem to forget, it's very easy to gloss over the fact that at this point, Logain went through a fucking rebellion with, I believe, Kaelin's father's Marek?
Yeah.
They
basically started the rebellion.
Yeah, they basically built Ferelden into the free state that it is, and now Kaelin's in charge, and Logain's a bit fucking dour about that. Yeah, his daughter's the queen by marriage, but and I don't think it gets brought up often enough that Logain is very much not mentally sound at this point in his life.
Yeah, and we find out that Marek is also that Kaelin is also plotting to divorce Logain's daughter and just marry one of the princesses of Orlais, yeah. It might even be the queen.
I was going to say it's worse than that. It's straight up Empress Celine.
Yeah.
But
just basically
we don't
reverse the entire rebellion.
We don't actually learn that here. We learn that when we do the Return to Ostagar DLC, which is much, much later. And it's great, because if you have Logain in your party, when you pick up that note, he just goes, "That bastard!" And it's like, dude, he's already dead. Like, fucking calm down. Spoiler. For what's about to happen in about 3 hours of game time.
Yeah, he lives for as long as you piss about.
After that little confrontation, important to note, if you're a human noble, you straight up have the choice to talk to Kaelin as a bit more of an equal, and one of the dialogue options is, hey, motherfucker, I've forgotten his fucking name, How. He's a piece of shit and killed my family, and Kaelin immediately goes, well, this is not right at all. As soon as the Darkspawn are dealt with, we'll deal with this treachery. And you're like, oh yeah, Kaelin gets big boy points.
Yeah. Which means that obviously that doesn't get solved by him.
Oh god, no, it doesn't. In fact, you don't even learn that your brother is still alive until the very end of the game.
Yeah, shit, man. I played as like the elf mage, and
so you would have got Meryl at the end of the game.
Yeah. Oh no, you don't even get Meryl.
Yeah, you do.
Do you? Okay.
Everybody gets a character that represents their origin, and I'm pretty sure that you said the Daily Shelf, right?
No, the elf mage.
Oh, sorry, the mage. I don't remember who the mage gets as a representative. It might be the fucking Duncan.
It's usually Jowan, but he probably gets executed no matter what you do.
It's not. Jowan never makes it to the end of the fucking game.
I think there is a way for him to make it to the end of the game, but it basically includes you having to get a bad ending earlier on, and then he just flees.
Okay, fair enough. Jowan's a real non-factor anyway. Any character from your origin is a non-factor, as they should be, because there's a lot of basically they do their best to have most origins be like, shit's fucked enough that this is never going to be a factor again.
Yeah. Like, there's no going back to this origin. I think the closest one maybe is the dwarf noble, where you still have your BFF, but like he's got a quite happy job selling dwarven crap from Orzammar.
Oh no, the dwarf noble has nothing.
Oh yeah, he has nothing apart from the friend.
Yeah, but the friend's not even. That tie is basically gone.
Yeah,
like he's happy to see you. You get a little bit of dialogue, but then it's like you ask him to join you, and he's like, "I've got a family now, dog."
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, no, that's just not a thing anymore. But anyway, we digress. After your little conversation with Kaelin, or your introduction to Kaelin and Loghain to a certain degree, you can freely explore the camp, and I think the first thing most people do is you get to talk to Wynne.
Yeah, there's Wynne and there's Dog.
Well, let's do it one by one instead of listing things off and then coming back and forgetting shit. So let's tackle Wynne.
Yeah, Wynne is basically the representative of mages who are here from the Circle Tower. The Chantry disapproves of Kaelin choosing to bring them here.
Yeah, that makes no sense, because there's Templar supervision.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason for the Chantry to be pissy about this.
Yeah. And there's even just, like, a basic bitch mage that's chatting with Alistair as well, who's...
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. Let's do the side stuff before plot, because that's plot.
Yeah. But yeah, Wynne's a cool old lady. This is the first time you get to see her.
Yeah.
If you don't know that she's a party member later on, you probably just think, oh yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, you get some cool dialogue with her. She asks you if you're scared of dying for some fucking reason, and in hindsight it becomes real obvious why she asks questions like that.
Yeah, because she's on a timer.
Yeah.
And you get to see her die later.
Yeah, that was a shock the first time that happened, but yeah, there's plenty of cool responses to this. I think one of the interesting responses you can give is, I'm not afraid of death, but I am afraid of dying. Because that's rather telling of a way to phrase your answer to that, because it's like, yeah, if you believe in some sort of afterlife, death doesn't really seem that scary.
Yeah.
But dying seems like it fucking hurts.
Yes. Yeah. That's the thing that you'd want to avoid if you can. And then, one way or the other, either you have an afterlife in which you exist, or you don't, and you can't care.
Yeah, so the reason why I bring up the afterlife specifically is because in Phaedus there is an afterlife. It's the Golden City. But...
Yeah, it's possible you might not want to go there. It turned to black.
Yeah.
It's where the Maker's apparently there, or it's meant to be the seat of the Maker. And when the Magisters got there, it was apparently already empty.
Yeah,
and according to Corypheus, already corrupted, but he's like super unreliable as a narrator.
I was going to say, every single source we have is like from an evil person, so I don't really put much stock in what they're saying.
Yeah, but there's also the literary trope of villains never lie.
Yeah, except again, we haven't got any receipts.
Yeah.
We've gone to places where they say this is where the Golden Throne's meant to be, but we don't know that because it's in the Fade, and the Fade's bullshit.
Yeah, and even though you can see it when you're in the Fade, you can't get there because it's far away.
It's dumb.
Yeah, it's in the distance. It's like the sun of the Fade.
But the fact that there are spirits of hope and all that shit, like, means that it's not all doom and gloom. But
oh yeah,
we've got a few more things we can do in the camp before we actually have to go see Alistair. And you touched upon it earlier. We've got the dog side quest.
Yeah. If you're not the human noble, then yeah, you can help the dog or put it out of its misery.
Yeah,
why would you do that?
There's absolutely no reason to do this. You get no, like, even if the only reason to do this is if you're role-playing a psychopath. Yeah. Which don't.
And as they say in The Walking Dead, you don't kill dogs, man.
Oh, that's
especially
the
not one that's a party
games.
member. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that dog was going to kill Clementine, so it can fuck off.
Yes.
Yes. But anyway, I digress. Like, the dog's whimpering and sad and depressed. The dog is no threat.
Oh yeah.
There's absolutely no reason to kill the Mabari in Dragon Age. If you are the human noble, you can still get this quest, but it's a lot less meaningful because you just get a bit of gold.
Yeah, you just heal a different dog.
Yeah, you heal a different dog, and the guy goes, "Oh, thank you," and gives you. It's not even gold. I think it's like a piece of silver. You're not getting gold.
Because gold is a big deal. Yeah, gold's a big deal. Like, there's like one of the best pieces of equipment early on is you just buy it from Bodan Fedek, and it's like 1 gold.
Yeah, this is why Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. Well, not less so Inquisition. Dragon Age 2 kind of fucked me a bit because they just got rid of silver and bronze.
Yeah, like even Inquisition, like they they give you gold, but like it's more of what you would expect from any other fantasy game, and not just the de-inflated version of what you got in Ferelden. And I get it in Inquisition because you're a very rich person, you've got a freaking castle. But it still makes you feel like a chump in retrospect.
Yeah, certainly. Like, at the end of Dragon Age Origins, if you've got 100+ gold, you feel rich.
Yes.
And then you quickly realise you ain't shit, because you go to the magic shop and the cheapest thing is like 75 gold.
Yeah. Like, I think there's a bunch of things in shops that are like 200 gold each.
I've never
and
seen
those are like the
expensive.
ultimates. It's either 100 or 200. The idea is that those are like the ultimates, and they're still not that great compared to things that you find in specific parts of specific quests. But they're nice to have.
Sure.
Like a ring from somewhere in Orzammar, and I think Bodam Fedic's got 2.
But yeah, apart from the dog, I think the most you can find Daveth and Jory slightly early, but there's no real point in talking to them because they just kind of ignore you. Well, they say, "Oh, you're the 3rd Grey Warden recruit. We've been waiting for you." Blah 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 blah, and it's like, you guys have got death flags, so I don't care. The more interesting point is that you can go speak to Loghain in his tent.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever done this.
You have to pass a they don't call it charisma in Dragon Age, do they?
Yeah, it's like a speech check. But
yeah. You have to pass a speech check, and the annoying thing about this is, if you're not the human noble, there really is no reason to do this, and you kind of just annoy Loghain.
Yeah.
If you're the human noble, you can bring up I'll Howl again, and he'll express sympathy, and I think it's really important to talk to Loghain in this context at least once, because it really doubles down on Loghain being tired and pessimistic about the battle to come.
Man, I think I have done it, because I think it's the one where he actually opens up to you about, that he knows that it's not going to be as easy a fight as Kaelin thinks it's going to be.
Yeah, something along those lines. He also reveals that actually, he does have a bit of political savvy. He does have a silver tongue if he wants to use it, because he's very diplomatic when bringing up the Grey Wardens when talking to just you. He says, "I understand you're you're joining an order of great import. I understand you're joining this order of fabled warriors. I don't think the amount that we have is going to make a difference."
Yeah, because they've got like 4.
Like, that's actually it. You got Duncan, you got Alistair. Assuming everyone survives to joining, which, by the way, at this point, we don't know is potentially fatal, you'll have 5.
Yeah, you got 5. Yeah, you got 2 existing and 3 named. Apparently, there's a few others, the ones that Alistair talks about with fondness, because they're the ones that just die on the front lines.
Yeah, but we never fucking meet them, so they might as well be no one.
Yeah, so the implication is that there are like a full-on like contingent of wardens, but it's nowhere near enough to turn the tide, as you say.
But yeah, I think this is a very important interaction that they put early in the game, and I think... Correct. Do feel free to disagree if you don't agree with my point. I think it's great that it's optional.
Okay, yeah, because you had to jog my memory on it as to whether or not I actually did it, and yeah, you can just sail past it and not talk to the villain.
Well, he's not a villain.
That he's a villain.
I was gonna say, he's very definitely not a villain yet. Until the incident, he's very much still a heroic figure, and even after the incident, most of Ferelden has so much respect for his deeds and his history that they're kind of okay looking past it.
Yeah, they just believe his lie that there was nothing he could have done.
I mean, you know what? In hindsight and looking completely objectively, I don't think Loghain charging in would have changed the tide.
It might have saved Kaelin.
Who gives a fuck? Kaelin's actually shit.
Oh, yeah.
I would rather Loghain survive that battle than Kaelin.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Kaelin,
I agree with that.
Kaelin is completely unbloodied at this point. I have no doubt he's competent and received the absolute best training as possible, but he's never been in a war. He's never been in a conflict. He doesn't know shit.
Yeah. It's all courtyard training, nothing on the field.
I mean, I think Alistair says it best where, I met Kaelin once. I said, "Oh, hello, Lord Kaelin," and he went, "Ooh, swords," and completely ignored me.
Even though they've got the same face. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's amazing how just having long hair makes Kaelin look completely fucking different.
Yeah.
Well, he's also got that glorious golden armour.
Yeah, this is just a palette swap of Loghain's dour silver armour.
Is it really? It looks bigger.
I think it's a palette swap. I could be wrong.
I'm not going to argue with you because I generally don't know. I'd have to have a side-by-side, and I'm not bringing that up right in the middle of a podcast, mostly because my keyboard's still broken. But yeah, the only other interaction I can think of is you do have the blacksmith in the camp, which I only bring up because you have one of the most amusing exchanges if you happen to be playing an elf.
I forget about this.
You forget about it. Okay, if you come up to him as an elf to try and do business, he just assumes you're his servant, or you know his servant, and he starts ordering you about, and you can tell him to fuck off.
Oh man, okay, yeah.
It might not be if you're a Dalish elf, because I think Dalish elves have to have the markings, so I think he can tell not to fuck with you. But if you're a city elf, he definitely just goes, "You servant, do blah 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 blah," and you tell him you're a Grey Warden, and he cacks himself.
Yeah.
You can also threaten him into giving you a discount. But yeah, I suppose we should move on to actual plot and meet the arguably main character of Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah, he does his best to duck it. Like, if it weren't for you, he really would be the main character. But now that you're here, he just ducks the responsibility and just lets you be the main character instead. You meet Alistair. He's having a bit of an altercation with a mage. He's delivering the message to the mage, and the mage is getting snippy.
Yeah, but at the same time, from the context of what the mage says, he's been given this message like 5 times, and he's just getting fucking annoyed by it. It's not Alistair's fault, but you can totally understand why the mage is bothered. And to add insult to injury, Alistair is an ex-Templar, and everybody knows it, apparently, except for the main character, who has to go, why is being a Templar a problem?
Yeah, and that's when he dives into it. He never took the lyrium drafts, though, so he has some of the skills, but he's not got the addiction.
I mean, because it's a video game, he actually has all the skills.
Yeah, because it's a video game, you can spec into as much or as little of the Templar tree as you like. And if you learn it from him, then any of your other warriors can also be a Templar. Yeah,
they slightly get around this in 3 when you don't do Templar shit at all. You do fucking Cassandra's
Seeker
bullshit.
things.
Yeah, and they're just like, Seekers are just Templars, but without the lyrium addiction. And it's like, fuck off. You pulled that one out your ass.
Yeah, but apparently to be a real Seeker, you need to be made tranquil for a year.
Yeah, well, it's all stupid, that. But anyway, Alistair is very much comic relief, shall we say. Like, he's got his serious moments, but he very much adds a lot of playful banter to the game.
Yeah, he's slightly sarcastic. You can very definitely see the high charisma DNA from interacting with both Alistair and Kaelin in quick succession with prior knowledge.
Yeah, I get you a little bit. I mean, like, Alistair's so memeable.
Yes. Like, swooping is bad.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of, and that's going to be in about 5 minutes. But yeah, Alistair's great. They kind of ruin him a bit the more lore they add, because it turns out Alistair is the specialist boy who ever specialed.
Yeah.
Like, he's got everything in him, but we don't know that during Dragon Age Origins, so it's fine. But like, every time they add more lore to Alistair, it's like, oh, you know the specialist boy? He just got specialer.
Yeah, he's because he got like his mom was an elf mage, so he's part elf, he's part mage, he's obviously part king, and yeah, he's everything apart from dwarf.
Yeah, but he's got like dragon blood in him, I think, is what the most recent addition was, and it's like, fuck off.
Yeah, actually fuck off with that.
And he's got and he's even got darkspawn blood.
Oh yeah, like everyone in the Grey Wardens has darkspawn blood. Oh yeah, technically, yeah. So dragon blood is everyone in the Grey Wardens has a mixture of darkspawn blood and dragon blood, and they keep an amount of dragon blood from the most recent archdemon.
Yeah, except I don't think our Grey Warden did that because he didn't know.
So Duncan's preparation is implied to be him preparing the dragon's blood part, whereas you go out and get the darkspawn blood part.
That's not what I meant. I meant when we killed the archdemon, I don't think we had the knowledge that, oh, by the way, you need to collect some of this thing's blood.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't talking about our joining, I was talking about the ending of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. That, it would have been good for them to know, to be able to harvest some for more wardens in future.
Yeah, it's kind of implied that the big dick Grey Warden base just has infinite anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got Alistair. Let's go back to Duncan after collecting Jory and Daveth. Daveth is a streetwise street thief. Jory won a knight's tournament to become the champion, and this may or may not be relevant later.
Yeah, he's just a champion. He's not an actual, good knight.
But he is good at fighting. We know that, and that's kind of one of the main things. At the end of the day, a Grey Warden needs a certain element of character, but they still need to be able to fight. Grey Wardens do have scribes and stuff, but the scribes tend to be warriors and mages that retired because they're no longer combat ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, you collect Jory and Daveth. You meet up with Duncan. Duncan says, hey, go into the woods and get some Darkspawn blood for your joining. Jory's all worried. It's like, what if we get ambushed? And Alistair just straight up says, oh, I'm a Grey Warden. We've got a spider sense for Darkspawn.
Yeah, because he actually is a Grey Warden. He has this, whereas the others among you don't.
Yeah, and it's a nice detail as well, because whenever you get ambushed by Darkspawn on the world map, you get, before you actually trigger the ambush, your Grey Warden or Alistair will say, Darkspawn ahead, before you even see anything on the screen.
Yeah.
It's a very nice detail. It doesn't work very well in the deep roads, because Darkspawn are fucking everywhere.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So you go into
you're turfed out into the wilds, and you have to kill like a minimum of one squad of Darkspawn per character.
But here's the thing, Rick, is you've also got a secondary mission. You've got to go find some scrolls. This isn't vital to your joining, Duncan points out, but we really need them. So you get a quest marker. If you head towards that quest marker, you will fight the amount of Darkspawn that you need to get your blood vials. They make it really funny with the dog quest by just how fucking close the flower is to the gate.
Yeah. They could have just left, found it, and gone, oh, cool.
Like, for real. If you're playing as the human noble and didn't actually get the official quest to help the dog, Daveth actually points it out when you pick it up and says, oh, you should go see the kennel guy. He was looking for something like this.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you get a bit of playful banter from Daveth and Jory. I say playful from Daveth, a bit fucking buzzkilly from Jory.
Yeah. You get a tiny amount of chase end lore as well, in that, there are people out here that are humans who are not, traditionally civilized.
Yep.
And we meet one of them. We meet Morrigan.
Before we actually get to that, just very quick, this area is actually surprisingly big. There are a few side quests to do here, but none of them are important. They give you a bit of gold, really, and a little bit of experience, but the experience won't edge you towards a new level. So you can pretty much ignore the optional shit in this area.
Yeah, there's like a couple of missionary corpses that you can that try to point you towards Redcliffe, don't they?
I don't think they point you towards Redcliffe. They just I can't remember. Here's the thing, for the purpose of this podcast, I really did want to just play Dragon Age again, just to properly refresh my memory. I'm not digging out my PS3 just to play Dragon Age Origins again.
I think it's cheap on Steam.
Yeah, I told you why I don't play it on Steam.
Yeah, controller.
You just can't play it with controller, and I have it on Steam, and I was like, and I was confused as to why it doesn't have controller support. But whatever, we're not here to talk about that. I believe you fight a Revenant at the end of this, don't you?
I think so.
Or is it a Rage Demon? I can't remember. You fight... Oh, no, sorry. You've got one of the side quests triggers a Rage Demon, but Rage Demons in this game are very much underpowered compared to future games.
Oh, yes. They power up demons later on in other games because they were introduced so early in this game, they have to be shit with the scaling. If they saved them for a lot later, they could have been a much more credible threat.
Yeah.
But the fact that you got to, contend with them in the mage opening means, but
you fight a rage demon in the beginning of the mage opening, and you need to do a lot of buffing just to put yourself on an even playing field at level 1.
Well, level 1, yeah. But, by this point, you're probably level, 4.
No, 3.
Yeah, fair enough.
3 at most. Oh, well, actually, no. Actually, you make a good point, because I think you get to, 3 at the end of the origin. Anyway, the Rage Demon ain't shit. He goes down easy. It might not be a Revenant. I think it might be a Hurlock.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Like a Hurlock or a Genlock.
No, I know what it is. It's a fucking Darkspawn mage.
Right.
Because, hey, guess what? They treat mages as real proper problems in this fucking game.
Yes, because any mage can just be a portal to the Fade for any demon that wants to possess them.
Well, I just meant as a combat encounter, they're pretty difficult because they have all the spells you do.
Yeah. And also, when you recruit the mages later on, they say, well, we'll give you a contingent of 10 mages. And they go, isn't that very little? And he goes, you've obviously not seen what 10 mages can do.
I mean, Jesus Christ, one of the best parties you can have in Dragon Age Origins is 3 mages.
Yeah, player character mages and the other 2 mages, and then just additional person.
Yeah, just have
probably Alistair.
Nah, put it in Shell with her tank mode.
Oh, yeah, tank mode shield's even better, yeah. Tank mode shield's even tankier than Alistair.
Yeah, Alistair's pretty fucking tanky, but yeah, no, Shale just fucking dominates in that role. She also has a ranged and an offense version. The offense version isn't awful, but if you're gonna go offense, I'd honestly take Ogryn or Sten over her.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, once you've done this encounter, you as you say, you find Morrigan, who swoops in, and swooping is bad.
Yeah.
You've got the choice to be really civil with Morrigan or really dickish.
Yeah, and either way, she probably disapproves. Which is a bit of a meme. Morrigan disapproves about everything.
Oh, I don't know. She's very... When you introduce yourself to her, she's very courteous and kind. You get a great bit of dialogue from Jory and Davith. I don't think this is with Morrigan. I think this is with Flemeth, where Jory just says, she's a witch of the wilds. She can melt our brains. And Davith is like, if she really is a witch of the wilds, maybe you should shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And Flemeth is just like, oh, smart boy. Not very relevant, but smart.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, Flemeth gives you the treaties and explains that she was safeguarding them, and Alistair's like, you were safeguarding them? Thanks, I guess. So even Alistair's polite when he doesn't like... Alistair has to break through a lot of prejudices that he has against mages just to speak to Morrigan and Flemeth. And the fact that as soon as it's like, oh, I was looking after them, he's just like, oh, thanks. Yeah,
this is after he calls her some kind of sneaky witch thief.
Yeah. Alistair is great because he's got great comments, but they come from him being a bit stupid.
Yes, he does a bit of Buffy speak.
But yeah, after this conversation with Morrigan and Flemeth, you don't really get much more than that. Flemeth guides you back... Flemeth tells Morrigan to guide you back to camp, so she does. And you meet Duncan, and and Duncan's like, okay, come to this point in the map to do the joining. And that's the video game's subtle way of saying, hey, sell all your shit and complete whatever side quest you've done, because this is going to progress the plot, and this is the point where you strip Jory and Davith of everything they own.
Yeah, for like the 86 copper that their shit is worth.
Which, no joke, is a lot of money this early in the game.
Oh yeah, this very much does go with the old RPG tropes of when someone leaves, they take their equipment with you.
Yeah, looking at you, Minwoo.
Yeah, well, it's apparently even worse if you have the DLC, because if someone leaves and they have DLC armor on, then you just lose the armor.
You don't get the DLC armor until you make camp for the first time.
True.
Oh, but, no, I tell a lie. You do get the Blood Dragon armor, but there's no one's going to be strong enough to wear it at this point in the game.
No.
So it's really a non-issue.
Yeah.
Also, if you're putting your DLC armor on a character that's not your main character, unless you're playing a mage, then you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I think the Penny Arcade example was they put something on Alistair and then he left the party.
I don't remember him leaving the party at any point.
Well, he leaves the party if you pick Logain.
Okay, but at that point in the game, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. You probably got something better than the armor you paid $7 for.
Well, or you get free with the game.
Yeah.
Man, speaking of fucking spending $7 on armor, bloody, have you seen, like, it's fairly relevant. Dragon Age Veilguard's coming out. They've released a bunch of information on the different versions of the game, which... most of them are rip-offs. But, yeah, once again, they are expecting you to pay extra money to get the Blood Dragon armor. And it's like, dude, the only reason the Blood Dragon armor was interesting is because it was just a freebie you tossed at us all the time.
Yeah, like... I think I used it in Mass Effect 2, but just for fun.
Well, yeah, because in Mass Effect 2, if you weren't using a complete armor gear set, your character looked stupid.
Yeah, like, there are cool things that you can make out of parts, but generally, you need to match things up, otherwise they look crap. And so then you might as well just wear Blood Dragon armor, because that always fits together, because it's just the one thing.
Yeah. But anyway, today's not about Mass Effect. Yeah, you can talk to the Mabari guy, and he'll be like, oh, cool, he's already immediately a lot better. And he'll say, why don't you come back after the battle? Perhaps we can bond him with you. And that's totally not foreshadowing. Obviously, you don't get that if you're the human noble, but he does give you some money.
Yeah.
And, I'll let you take the lead for the joining, Rick, because it's quite an interesting cutscene, because you learn some things, and it shows the true character of the two recruits other than you.
Yeah, so Davith is the first one to do the joining, and Duncan gives you a little bit of exposition, and Davith just drops dead on the spot, and then he goes, yes, sometimes the joining, we wardens live a short life. Sometimes the joining makes it so that it takes the price sooner rather than later. and Jory tries to back out, and Duncan's like, nah, you're not backing out. You can't be taking this information to anyone else. This is the way we do it. Sorry, and shanks him.
Now, to be fair to Duncan, he doesn't just shank him. Jory totally draws first.
Yeah.
Like, Jory draws steel, and Duncan just fucking owns him.
Yeah.
Like, not even fucking close. Duncan fucking annihilates this dude.
Yeah, straight through the gut.
He does seem genuinely remorseful about it, and it's like, oh fuck, this is why we don't do tournaments.
Yeah, and then now that you've seen the two bad outcomes that you could do, then your only real choice is to drink it and hope for the best.
Like, for real.
And you still fall unconscious.
Well, yeah, because it's just too powerful, man. But
yeah,
I do feel a little bit for Jory, because I totally get his rationale. He says how he's got a wife and a baby at home, but it's like, you knew that you were signing up to join this group of warriors. You knew that even if you were the assumption is you're going to successfully join this group and you're never going home.
Yeah, and he even says, while proving that he is a coward, I am no coward.
Yeah, it's like fucking DJ Khaled. I'm not quitting, but I'm quitting.
Yeah.
You got to watch that fucking Hot Wings episode. It's so fucking funny.
Oh man, yeah, I've not seen that.
Yeah, he gets to like to the number 2 spiciness and just goes, I don't quit, I don't back down out of nothing, I'm just not doing this anymore. And the host just does not let him get out of it that easy. He just goes, so you're quitting? It's like, no, I don't quit. It's like, yeah, but you're quitting. Like, and it's just it's so fucking funny. It's like, and the only reason why it's funny is because he keeps insisting he's not quitting. And it's like, I've eaten hot spicy things before. There's absolutely nothing wrong with saying this is too spicy for me, I'm going to stop. Like, if he'd have just done that, he would not have gotten nearly as much shit as he gets.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you succeed in the joining, you get given a pretty little necklace, which has a drop of the taint in it, or the joining mixture. As soon as you wake up, fucking Alistair just straight up says 2 more dead, which implies this happens a lot.
Yeah, apparently only one of them died during his joining, but that just made him really glad that he didn't. You also have a cheese dream about the archdemon while you're asleep.
That's not till later.
Is it not?
It's the first night at camp you get the proper dream.
Okay.
I believe for this it's just a fade to black.
Sure. But yes, you have after that there is a war council.
Yeah, there is, but it's mostly just Logain saying, this place isn't the most defensible. I think we should pick somewhere else. And Kalen reminds us that the reason why he's doing this is because there was a battle here X amount of years ago, and it's poignant, and we'll beat the Blight before it ever begins. And the Grey Wardens are here in case the Archdemon shows up, and that's not going to happen. That'd be silly.
Yeah. Kalen's just treating it like any old excursion and like minor military campaign, except it's not against anybody who's sentient, so it's all winners, really.
And honestly, this has such don't worry, it'll all be over by Christmas vibes.
Yes, absolutely. Like, even without hindsight, it felt that way.
Yeah, like, Kalen does not take this anywhere near as seriously as he should, and this one cutscene validates all of Logain's tiredness up to this point of having to put up with this bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, because you're the newest warden and Alistair is Duncan's special little baby boy, you get given the relatively simple job of lighting the beacon. Although, as soon as you start the battle, it's like, no, it's not simple. You fucked up. Why were we not at the top of the fucking tower before the battle started?
Yeah, I think it's a case of you were on your way there, but then the battle started.
Yeah, but like, whatever, I guess. It's a video game. You gotta do video game shit. You can help a bunch of soldiers on the way. Honestly, there's not much to say here. There's just a lot of fucking combat.
Yes. It culminates in one of the cooler moments, which is the one against the ogre.
Yeah, okay, so fun story time with Devon. When I first played this game, I completely respect Alistair. Like, they had him clearly going down the sword and board route and being a tank. I didn't know how tanking worked in Dragon Age, so I completely did not go down that route and gave him different abilities that were not helpful. And this fight was a fucking nightmare without a tank.
Was this one where you just ended up kiting the ogre around the room, running in circles?
It's one where I died and I restarted the game and did a different origin.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I fucked it to that degree. Like, you don't have a good party for this. You've got yourself and Alistair. If you're the human noble, your Mabari joins you because he's a fucking bro. Otherwise, you're stuck with 2 generic NPCs that are not good.
Yeah, you got a circle mage and just a knight.
Yeah, I believe the knight has a crossbow. That's how bad he is.
Yeah.
Oh, and a general reminder, by the way, I was really confused for a long time in Dragon Age 2 why Varric was making a big deal of having a crossbow, because there was crossbows in Dragon Age Origins. They were just shit.
Yep. It's just that...
Varric's is basically full auto.
Yeah, Varric's is good.
Yeah.
And his is the only one. Like, no one else can use a crossbow because it would make Varric less impressive.
Yeah, that is a reason. Varric's also banned from archery competitions. So says Scout Harding.
Yeah, so it's the Tower of Ishal, and I did have to redo the ogre fight.
It's a hard fight,
I played
man.
on hard mode.
It's a hard fight.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. And it's one of the better uses of here's an enemy you're going to fight semi-regularly. Like, alright, it doesn't... ogres don't crop up too often, but when they do, later on, you're like, oh, fuck it. You still have that, like, oh, fuck, it's an ogre. And then, oh, that wasn't too bad later on.
Yeah, I think part of what was a pain for me was that you can't be level 7 before this, pretty much, which is when you get your first specialization. You probably don't have any specializations. I was a mage, so I wasn't an arcane warrior yet, and yeah, it was difficult.
I know I'm in the minority, but I feel like being an arcane warrior is such a waste in this game.
Well, I think it's one of those where it lets you be a little bit of everything.
Yeah, okay, and guess what? People who do that are fucking cowards.
Right.
Rick, you've done this before in Dark Souls, and I hated you for that as well, if you recall.
Yeah, but in this, it's actually optimal.
Yeah, except fuck you, you're a mage. Stop being a fucking warrior.
Sure. So yes, you light the beacon, and it gets ignored.
We get the cutscene of ultimate betrayal.
Yeah, whereas you just get to see Logain going,
sound the retreat.
Yep, sound the retreat.
That pause, it's just like, it's almost as if he knows he's being filmed.
Yep. And I think even someone questions him, and he's like, sound the retreat, and they just listen to him then.
Here's the thing, is again, I think you need to put yourself in the mindset of the average Ferelden soldier, and that is, Logain is the pinnacle of what a Ferelden soldier can be in their minds. He is the warrior, the common folk man who saved Marek all those years ago, and then fought with him side by side, tooth and nail, to free Ferelden. If he says retreat, chances are he's got a good reason for it.
Yeah. And your common soldier doesn't even cross their mind that he's doing this specifically to kill Marek.
No, wrong name.
Kalen, sorry. Kalen. I do this all the time.
It's fine. I don't even think he's planning on killing Kalen. I generally think this is a spur of the moment decision, because the battlefield's fucked. And we get close-up shots of the battlefield of Kalen getting murdered, and then even Duncan falls, and Duncan has proven multiple times at this point how much of he's not Kalen. He's been in the fucking nitty-gritty of war before.
Yeah, Duncan is a badass. If there was going to be one person to survive all of it, it would have been Duncan, but he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. And yeah, you get knocked the fuck out shortly after, and you get saved by Flemeth, but you don't really know that.
Yeah, and you wake up in Morrigan's lap.
I will say, Alistair's fucking VA during this exposition scene does a great job of fucking just dead inside.
Yeah, because not only that, he's met Morrigan very recently. He also doesn't like Morrigan, and now he has to swallow his pride, in addition to everything that he's ever loved having gone wrong.
Yeah,
like the only tie he has to the outside world now is the Wardens, of which there are 2, and Bantegan.
Well, it's Al Aemon.
Oh, yeah, Al Aemon, sorry, yeah.
But yeah, Bantegan's his brother, and they're assumedly they're also close, but it's Al Aemon.
Yeah, Al Aemon is the being the actual uncle, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's one of those where, again, fucking full props to Alistair's VA in this scene. He does a real good job of just being broken and defeated, and somehow managing to make himself sound very quiet and small while still being audible.
Yes. When you meet Flemeth, Flemeth, you get to put two and two together that when Daveth was hemming and hawing and being a pussyfoot about the Witch of the Wilds, that yes, there really is a Witch of the Wilds. Two, actually, because Morrigan is also one.
Yeah, Jury was more the one being a bitch about it. Daveth just sort of said, if it's true, then shut the fuck up.
Sure.
Don't want to annoy them. But yeah, it's one of those where Flemeth is basically like, hey, you're the last two Grey Wardens in Ferelden. Could you deal with the Blight, please? And you're like, I guess we don't have much of a choice. You get more exposition on the treaties, and you're basically given your main quest here of go to all these places and recruit your allies.
Yeah, and she goes, oh yeah, Morrigan, go with them. And she goes, what?
Yeah, yeah, like, Morrigan is the character that BioWare just goes, let's wheel out Morrigan again, because everyone loves Morrigan. She was in the most recent trailer for Veilguard.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, except we can't romance her again. She's the Grey Warden's love interest.
Mm-hmm. Unless you've picked specific shit options, and she's the Grey Warden's widow.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, if you get with Morrigan and you don't take her deal to make a kid, why?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because Morrigan's like, I want to save you and I love you. This is a win-win. It makes no sense.
Like, the only downside is that she leaves, but then the whole point of Witch Hunt is that you find her and then you can just leave through the Alluvion with her.
Yeah, and like she's like, you're not supposed to follow me, and you're like, but I want to, and she's like, okay, cool. It's such a silly bit of dialogue. Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah, I love Morrigan. I'm glad she's forced to join you. She's got the worst specialization ever.
Oh, yes. Like, they don't have druids in Dragon Age, but Morrigan essentially plays like a druid in that she can turn into beasties. And, it's part of her background character that she can just turn into a cat and go into town and piss about in town and then go, okay, I've had enough now, and then go home and then get bollocked for it by Flemeth.
Like, this specialization could have been cool and unique, but it's just crap. I'm giving you guff for being an arcane warrior because I think like it kind of ruins the specialty of mages, but it's better than this shit.
Yeah, like, at least with Arcane Warrior, you can just pick the buff spells, give yourself all the buffs, and then when you're in Wrecking Ball mode, just go and hit things.
Or like, shit, even just take the specialization just so you can wear real armor.
Yeah.
And then don't even invest in the skill tree or beyond that. I mean, it's not a big waste, because, like, again, blood magic is evil, so you don't want to do that, and, like, there's no point in having two healers.
Yeah. Plus, it turns magic into your conversation stat as well.
Does it? I thought it was just your combat.
Yeah, so, just for intimidation, sorry.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because intimidation is based on strength.
Yeah.
Arcane Warrior makes your strength irrelevant, so it goes off in intelligence instead, or magic or whatever. Fair enough. Yeah, magic becomes your intimidation stat.
Yeah, that makes a certain amount of sense.
Like, it actually does as well. Like, you start glowing with sparks and show people that you might be about to kill them. Yeah, it makes a bit of gameplay and story integration sense.
Yeah, sure. I wasn't arguing. But yeah, Morrigan begrudgingly agrees after Flemeth says, aren't you always complaining that you're stuck here? Well, I'm letting you go. And Morrigan's like, yeah. Fine, let me grab my meager things. I hope the pot doesn't boil over and hit you. And Flemeth's like, that's not very nice. And Morrigan's like, but yeah, once you leave Flemeth, you've got your party of 4 if you're the human noble, because you already have your Mabari, which lets you skip this next scene.
Yeah, so the next scene is the dog that you bonded with if you're not human noble finds you. And then you have dog.
Yeah, you have to kill a few fucking shitling darkspawn, but it's a real nothing encounter. It's just so you get dog.
And then we get Morrigan's thing of, we have dog, and Alistair is still the most stupid member of the party.
Yeah, I think Alistair just goes, like skips several beats before just going, hey. But yes, I think that wraps up Ostagar quite nicely. But Lothering isn't massive, and it feels like a waste to tack this on to anything else. So let's tackle Lothering. You get to Lothering, and it's immediately clear that there's a bunch of refugees and shit's fucked, which is nice in the sense that, hey, this is how Dragon Age 2 starts, and it's a very nice tie-in.
Yeah, so the characters from Dragon Age 2 are predominantly from Lothering, and they're fleeing the shit that's gone down. But you get a couple of little quests here. One of them is just a test of morality. It's not even a real quest. It's just a case of, do you give to people? Do you give to the Chantry? Or do you mug people? And it's a case of who do you want to gain approval with and who do you want to get disapproval with.
Yeah, the only quest I remember doing here which had anything to do with morality was the merchant jacking up all the prices, and there is at least a practical reason to be a dick here. Like, if you side with the merchant, he's like straight up, oh cool, I'll give you a handsome discount, and he does give you a discount if you side with him. I don't think it's worth it, but
oh no,
it at least makes sense. If you have Sten by the time you do this little bit, Sten is just confused as to why the merchant is allowed to do this, and says in his homeworld, like, we'd kill him.
Yeah, that's basically the big quest here, is freeing Sten. You find him in a cage, and you can ask the Chantry Mother Superior rather politely or not so politely for the key. Yeah, then you get Sten.
You have to be very careful with your dialogue options to get the key nicely. I think one of the routes you can go is just straight up like, he killed like a whole family. Why should we let him go? And it's like, doesn't matter what his crime is, being ripped apart by Darkspawn while being helpless to defend himself is fucked. And the lady just goes, yeah, okay, that's a fair point. You got to promise to not bring him back ever to Lothering. And it's like, that's not going to be a problem in about one load screen.
Because you're not allowed to go back because it gets overrun.
Yeah, and I think we should touch upon it right now. Something I do like about the game is the more stuff you do, the more the blight spreads. And when you're on the overview map, it's represented by black ink just covering portions of the map, and it gets larger the more you play.
Yeah, like as the world state progresses, just things become inaccessible. There's the Return to Ostagar DLC, but I think that's the only time you really go back, like backwards.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can go back to places as long as you've not been to Denerim yet. Like, they do tactically have the ink in such a way that it doesn't actually cover up any of the main areas. It's pretty much just Lothering.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, you free Sten. Sten actually takes some convincing to let him out, because he feels like he does need to be punished. Because when he explains what his crime is, like, it is that you just go, oh yeah, that's fucked, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like Sten. He's one of the most interesting people in this game, but you do have to, it's like drawing blood from a stone getting it out of him, though.
Oh yeah. I also
and also among Kunari is actually rather funny.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. He likes cookies.
Yes.
But yeah, like, Sten is one of the few characters that, despite being civil with you almost by his standards, there is a point in the game where it's like, don't take him here because he will try to murder you.
Yeah.
Well, alright, he doesn't try to murder you. He challenges you to honourable one-on-one combat, but like, if you're a mage, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a conversation for later. You free Sten, you get Liliana here as well. It's not really an issue for Liliana. She's just like, the Maker sent me on a holy mission to join you, and it's like, okay, cool, cheers. You got a few side quests. One of them is to kill a bunch of wolves. It's nothing. Another one is a guy wants some poison traps for his fields, and it's not worth doing. It's just a tutorial for trap making, and I don't know about you, Rick,
crafting.
but I never used traps in this game.
No, I never did crafting again.
But yeah, did you ever use traps?
No.
Yeah,
no.
I can't think of any way practical to use them. I guess in some of the dungeons, because of how narrow the hallways are, you could set traps down and then retreat and lead people away, but
that's entirely it. You have to retreat to where the trap is, and the very way that the game is set out is you just keep on advancing.
Yeah, like the only combat encounter I can think of this being a boon is when you fight like 7 dragonlings at once. I could totally see like 300ing them being a viable tactic, but just kill them.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, anything that a trap can do with kiting, a person with a bow can also do with kiting, and you don't have to go into the menu.
Yeah, it's not worth it. They do improve upon traps in future games by making traps just be abilities.
Yeah, they're just skills. Like, Varric having traps as his main skill is pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah.
And, I was just going to say, like a bit of a tangent, I like how they deal with it in Pathfinder 2, where you can just pull a trap out of your pocket and just slam it on someone's head.
I mean, that's pretty much what Varric does.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I think that pretty much actually sums up Lothering quite well. It's just for you to get 2 additional party members. You get a warrior and a rogue. If you are not playing a rogue yourself, this this is your first and, well, only rogue that you have at this point in the game.
Yeah, only rogue until later. And you also get the two most important NPCs in the entire game, Bodon, Fedek, and Sandal.
Enchantment.
Enchantment.
What's the fucking deal with Sandal? They never really explain him. Like, in Dragon Age Inquisition, he shows up and he's basically just a god in the Fade, and you're like, what the fuck is this? When did this happen?
Yeah, he's just a meme. And, like, even in Origins, he freezes a bunch of dudes, and when you ask him what he did, he went, not enchantment.
Yeah, but there's more sense to, like, again, you've never met Sandal in Inquisition. Until that point, you just encounter him in the Fade doing bullshit. And it's like, what? Why? Where's
First
your...
of all, how is there a dwarf in the Fade?
It's like, where is your father?
Yeah. How is there a dwarf in the Fade? And also, what are you doing? He's an enigma on an enigma on an enigma, and one of the stupid theories is that he's the maker.
That would ruin everything. But yeah, anyway, you meet Bodon, you save him and his boy from a few Hurlocks. It's not a big deal of a fight, it's a real nothing. If anything, it's just for you to get grips with Sten and Leliana if they've joined your party at this point, which chances are Leliana's in. You beat the fight, and Bodon's like, oh, you guys can handle yourselves in a scrap, mind if we tag along with you? And you tell him you can, but fair warning, we're Grey Wardens, we're kind of in a shit boat right now. And Bodon, who I'm convinced is voiced by Owaka, says something along the lines of, we are very grateful for your offer, and we're thankful that you helped us, but that's a bit more trouble than I'm willing to bite off.
Yep.
Which is a fucking lie, because he's in your camp in 2 seconds' time.
Yeah.
So, you after the Lothering, you're in your camp, and you get to do some dialogue stuff, but I think this is an awesome time to just cut it, and we'll tackle the camp next time. Speaking of next time, Rick, you had a fascinating idea last time we actually had a discussion, and you said that the game actually straight up opens up at this point. You can do any of the they're not contracts.
Any of the treatises.
Yeah, you can do any of the treaties at this point, and honestly, logically, I think there's only 2 places you should really start at, but you can do it in any order. But it's weird if you go to Ostagar first. Not Ostagar, fuck, Orzammar. But you suggested that we should just do this during the episode of... Rick, where did you go first in your first playthrough?
Yeah, like, I went to... the one that I finished first was the Mage's Tower, but I did go to the Dales first.
The Dales? That's that's a weird place to go.
Because I looked it up on the wiki, that's where you get the Mage Warrior.
Oh, so you're So you didn't actually pick it based on... So you cheated?
Yeah, so ignoring that, I did the tower first. Like, I didn't complete the Dales when I was doing that. I got the thing and left, did the tower, and then came back.
You got the thing and left? That's such a weird way of doing it, Rick. Why wouldn't you just finish the zone?
But you can. Well, because I didn't feel powerful enough, and I wanted to deal with my peeps first.
But it scales.
Yeah, but I was an elf, but I was a mage, and I identified more with mages than the Dales.
But Rick, it scales.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But it scales, Rick. You can see it scales.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, you've really wound me up with that answer.
Where did you go first?
I went to Redcliffe, because that's where Alistair said to go.
Yeah.
I
left Redcliffe for the end, because, you can basically, if you do the Mage's Tower before Redcliffe, you get some additional options, and I think you even get benefits if you do Orzammar as well, because you get, like, lyrium as well, don't you, from Orzammar?
None of it doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
If you also don't get extra options for doing the Mage Tower first, because you do Redcliffe, you get to the point where it's like, we need to help Connor, and it's like, cool, we need help from the mages, and because you don't know the Mage Tower's fucked at that point, you're just like, oh, it's literally just over the fucking river, so you go to the Mage Tower, and then you have to do
and then it's fucked,
and then you have to
do it.
Yeah, and then you have to do the Mage Tower. You cannot leave the Mage Tower and go somewhere else, because if you do that, the next time you come to Redcliffe has been overrun by skeletons.
Yeah.
So there's a you are locked into doing the Mage Tower next. So with that in mind, I guess next episode we'll do the Mage Tower.
Yeah, because we both did it very quickly.
Yeah.
It was the first one that we both completed, really, because, you have to do it to either finish Redcliffe or just do it for itself.
Yeah. If Redcliffe didn't have the whole castle segment and the Fade segment, then we could have probably combined the two, but I think that would make the episode a bit too long. So, next time we'll do the initial camp bullshit, which is a lot of dialogue and getting to know characters, talking to Bodan. You get a very annoying DLC man in the corner who won't shut the fuck up if you haven't bought the DLC. That's all stuff we'll talk about, but we'll also tackle the Mage Tower, which I think is possibly the smallest area of the main areas.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's left to do, Rick, is for you to take the reins again and do the rundown.
Yes, so from this segment of Dragon Age Origins, do you have a favourite moment?
Duncan's death cutscene is really well done.
Yeah, like, it's one of the few things where they go into, like, full-on cinematic mode for the cutscene.
They do, and it really sells just how dire things are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, it does help that it comes 2 seconds after Logain's big betrayal, and when it's your first time playing, you're generally just confused as to what the fuck. Because up until this point, you've got no idea that Logain's the basically dual antagonist.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You know, if the Archdemon wasn't the looming threat, he would be the antagonist.
Yes, like, as far as you're concerned, he is your antagonist, and the Archdemon just is.
Well, the thing is with both Logain and the Archdemon, I never felt either conflict was personal.
Yeah, true.
Like, Logain has no personal beef with you, it's just you're a Grey Warden and you know the truth, so you need to be fucked up.
Yeah, you need to be silenced, and with the Archdemon, it's basically just a force of nature.
Yeah, not even wrong. But yeah, we've waffled a bit. What about you? What was your favourite moment from this segment?
It's actually just the ogre fight, because it's the most difficult fight in this portion of the game, and possibly, other than like the actual finale bosses of the roots and the actual finale, it's, I think, the most memorable fight because of how much it pushes you.
You got to give it credit where it's due, because it's not even artificially difficult, because it is just an enemy that is stronger than you. Because, like, they don't inflate its health bar, they don't give it extra gimmicks, it's just a elite enemy. And even later in the game, it's still, because of this one fight, you still kind of are, like, treating every ogre fight as, oh, we need to be careful. But by the time you're level 8, it's not a threat.
Yeah, it's, additional ogres are not trivial, but this one really did hammer it home how difficult they could be. And you get the really cool
opening cutscene,
cinematic finisher.
Oh yeah, the finisher's great, but even the opening cutscene of it just squatting over and eating something, which is almost definitely a man.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's another layer as well as to why the Darkspawn are just terrifying to fight, in that they don't leave corpses for long.
No. And also, you know, if you get some of the blood in you, then unless you're a warden, you're probably gonna turn.
Yeah, the taint ain't no joke, and we learnt that from the Daily Shelf origin. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. But yes, that's our favourite moment. What's your weakest link?
I think my weakest link is that Lothering could have probably just been a cutscene.
I guess.
There's nothing there. You recruit Sten and you recruit Liliana. Apart from that, it's just a roadblock. And if you've played video games a lot, especially RPGs, you're like, I need to do every quest. And the quests here are ass.
Yeah, like, you could have recruited Liliana in Denerim.
Well, no, because that would have been too late in the game.
No, but, like, you could just go to Denerim.
Yeah, like, but you've got no reason to go to Denerim soon.
Fair. But, like, yeah, you can go to the basic city and just piss around and shop.
Well, again, I don't think they should have done that. That wouldn't have made sense. We're on an urgent mission and we just escaped with our lives. Let's go shopping.
Yeah.
No. Lothering makes sense in that sense, but it could have just been like, they could have made it like the dog, and it could have just been 2 encounters where you met Sten and Liliana. Like, I know Sten's meant to be at a low point in his life, but imagine if you just met Sten butchering a fucking group, a mini horde of Darkspawn. You're like, you're fucking strong. We're Grey Wardens. Do you want to join us? And he's just like, Grey Wardens, they're strong warriors. Yeah, I'll come along.
Yeah. By the way, I lost my sword.
Oh, yeah. If you could help me out, that'd be great. But that'd be it, though. Wouldn't it be great if he was, like, not even fucking fighting with a sword, just fucking smashing up Darkspawn with his fists?
Or with another Darkspawn.
No, then you get into silly territory. Dragon Age hasn't gotten into the silly, over-the-top bullshit yet.
Yeah. Although, yeah, he is big enough to pull one apart.
Yeah, but then you got the blood.
Yeah, but I think he's disciplined enough to not swallow any.
If you say so, man. I think that'd be overkill. What about you? What's your weakest link?
My weakest link is that it feels like both Kalen and Duncan were set up to be characters, and they were essentially just kind of wasted in terms of they just stop here, and everything that they are is just in the past after that.
You see, I think that's a bad weak link, because how many times have you encountered a character and you're just like, this character's going to die, so I don't give a shit. Looking at you, Jory and Davith.
Yeah.
Like, they make you care a lot about Duncan, because no matter what origin you took, he's literally saved your life. And they've proven time and time again that he is a badass, he is a fighter, he's a warrior, he can get shit done. When he dies, it's a real blow, and it's completely unexpected. Kaelin, you could probably predict a bit easier, but...
Yeah, I think this is one of the stronger parts of the game. Like, the opening is where it's really hammering home its feel. And after your origin, this is the first time when every origin is united in the same quest line, and I think it does a very good job of that.
Meant to be talking about weakest link, Rick.
Yeah, but fair enough. So, after all that, who is going to be your MVP of this section?
My MVP is going to go to Flemeth.
Okay.
Flemeth is
basically... Yeah, because without her, you would be dead.
Yeah, she's the Deus Ex Machina of this section of the game. She is the reason why the treaties are undamaged and are returned to you in great condition. She offers your party a little bit of succor upon your initial encounter, and she saves your life and basically kickstarts the game. You can even tell her that you don't feel like being a Grey Warden right now and doing Grey Warden things, and she's like, well, fucking the Blight's here, we can't do fuck all.
Yeah. And then she also gives you a daughter.
She does, and she is going to get smanged.
Yep.
But yeah, what about you?
Mine's going to be to Alistair, because he's a very good framing reference for like this entire portion of the game. He's with you all the way from your beginning of like even preparing for the ritual, all the way from here on out, pretty much. Like, I think the first time you can get rid of him is when you have more character members, and then even then you probably don't want to get rid of him because he's funny.
To a certain degree. Once I had Shale unlocked, because I played the game like 3 times to completion, it was very easy to take Alistair out the party, because, I'd seen most of it, and, Shale was new and interesting, and is just a better tank.
Yeah, true.
But, I get you. If you do anything to alter Alistair's tankiness this early in the game, that ogre fight will become impossible.
Yeah. But yes, that's our MVPs. So if you liked the video, you've got the comment section down below on YouTube, and if you're listening via one of the many audio platforms, well, there's sometimes comment sections on there now, but you can also send us an email at
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. I need to stress enough that use the comment section for good. Let us know what you thought of Dragon Age Origins in general, what you thought of this segment. What did we miss? I'm sure there's something. We're going a lot on memory. And give us suggestions for future episodes. Future retros. We've got the review as well, go check that out. And once we finish with Dragon Age Origins, we will need a new idea for a deep dive, so getting ideas on that front would also be nice.
And tell us which one of the routes you went down as well first. But yes, see you later, everybody.
Bye guys, see you next week.